everybody, and welcome back to Welcome Grove Homestead. Today I'm going to be cutting some feet. We had some rain yesterday, and that meant that the ground got soft. It meant that our feet over here got soft. So we recently did our girls, and it is time for the boys to be done. We definitely have some that are a little bit overdue. Wanted them to get just a little bit overgrown so that I could really show you guys what I'm doing, how I'm doing. Mr. John here, he's got the blonde feet, so they get really ugly. We are not doing Mr. Caleb. He's a bit more intense. Because he is so large, he doesn't fit on my stand, and I'm unable to do him by myself. And so David has to help me out with him, and he's not here during the day usually. And so we actually did his feet recently, and that involved David full body hugging him on the ground. It really turned out to be way easier to knock him down and do his feet. He was also being treated. He needed to be dewormed. So knocking him down made a big difference for us to treat him, because when he is simply tethered, he is still really, really strong. He can still put up a really good fight. So putting him down on the ground was just the safest and easiest and quickest way to deal with Mr. Caleb. But everybody else, they can go on a stand. They get their feet trimmed when they're on, actually it's a milking stand. So we're gonna drag that out here, and we're gonna get our boys going. The only goat that I think that I have already done in here was Mufasa. He is our French Alpine wether. He was our example goat. I had a couple of people here locally who wanted to learn how to trim goat feet, and I grabbed him and I did his feet as part of a demonstration. So he's recently had his feet done. We may still let him on the stand for a little bit of a snack and a treat and a goodie. But we're gonna get Java, Rocket, who had one foot trimmed as part of our demonstration. Rocket's gonna get trimmed. I'm gonna check Nightshade. He may or may not be due. And Big John is the major one, because I looked at his feet yesterday and they're in some dire need of a trim. So we're gonna get set up here and we're gonna get going. Here is Java. He is our 1.5-year-old buck. Let's take a look at his feet. Easy, buddy. And see, he needs just a maintenance trim. He's not too bad. We're gonna trim this up. I'll show you what it looks like. I'll have an assistant come out and help me film for the other guys. Okay, so now after his trim, that is how Java's same foot looks. So, our goal today is to show you guys how to trim goat feet. Alright, so now I've got Rocket here on the stand, and I have my handy dandy little photographer, Caleb, behind the camera. That's Caleb, my child, not Caleb the goat. So, we're going to take a look at Rocket's feet. Rocket is known for having some kind of scary looking feet. Now, they're not too horrible. So we're gonna get these trimmed up. Now he has very hard, dry feet. Unfortunately, it looks like the rain we had yesterday just was not enough to soften these. But see, I've got my hoof shears here. And we're just gonna trim all the peeled stuff around the edges. And he's got some heel growth here. We're gonna trim that back. Now, he gets a lot of these pockets on the sides. Now, it's generally not recommended to use your shears to clean them out, but I know how deep they usually tend to go. I know what force to use, but if you're unsure, definitely don't use your blades to clean out any pockets. Use a hoof pick or anything else that is not sharp going into those little cavities and crevices. One thing that is paramount that obviously I'm not using here is a good sharp set of shears. Mine just recently trimmed a lot of feet, so they're definitely feeling that they need to be sharpened. Now he's got a lot of growth coming in toward the other foot, and I'm going to just keep trimming a little bit away at a time until either I get close to his quick, which is when it's going to start turning pink, or it is the shape that I want. So just trimming little bits off at a time. And that is like the main thing with trimming feet, is little bits at a time. Great big sweeping cuts is how you end up drawing blood and making mistakes. Now I'm going to take my file. I like to use this. It's just a regular handheld wooden, it's a plane for woodworking actually, but it works really well for filing goat feet. That's what we end up with on Mr. Rocket's back foot here. It's not 100% what I want it to be, but sometimes you just have to live with the best you can get, because ideally this toe should be turning out probably a little bit. But you can see the grain of growth is growing in. So we want to try and correct it so that it starts growing straight. But every goat is going to have tendencies and growth rates and growth directions and patterns. So every goat is a little bit different. Alright, now we are working on Rocket's front foot. His front feet tend to be kind of scary looking. Oof, buddy. Alright, so we've obviously got some scariness here on the edges. You can see this side right here especially has like some hoof wall separation. He is weird in that he likes to grow a new layer of hoof and blow off the old layer instead of just continually growing a single layer. He's also got some heel growth going in every direction. So we got some trimming to do here, and his feet are going to be pretty hard, so I'm going to go with nippers instead of shears to get some of my primary cuts in. Let's see. Now hoof nippers are seriously hand savers. They have made a huge difference in my life with cutting feet. Alright, you're okay, buddy. It's just a little bit long. We take the tip off here. Okay. Now you can see I'm not really going very deep. I'm just getting these primary cuts in, and the nippers have made a huge difference for me in just getting that preliminary cut done, and then I can go in and clean up with shears and my file. But the nippers get me most of the way there with much less hand fatigue. There we go, buddy. These are going to feel much better to walk on. Okay. Now I can go in with my shears after some of the hardest stuff has already been cut away. It's already been started for me. Easy, buddy. The key to successful hoof trimming is little bits at a time. It'll feel like you're taking forever, But that is how we keep everything safe for the goat. We don't end up cutting too much. Just little bits at a time. You can see the shape of that foot is already coming a lot more natural. Looking like it should. Now we can file it and see where we're at. Well, and it seems to me that goats with white feet just tend to have ugly feet. And it's funny, his feet are not all that white, but underneath they are. Now, of course, with all this grinding and filing and trimming and clipping, we want to make sure that both feet are filed down to the same level, so when he puts his foot down, he's standing level. Let's take a look. Looking good there, buddy. All right, Mr. Rocket, you have got beautiful feet now. You ready to go back out? Say, I am ready to be done with not having grade. Now, Audrey is doing her first real hoof trim here on Nightshade, who's a 6-month-old mini La Mancha. What do you think, Audrey? Is it hard?
A little bit. Not super though.
He's a little bit wiggly. He's not used to his feet being trimmed.
He's never been standing trimming because we usually just flip him up and he sits on his back.
Yes.
So, and he dies.
It's babies that are too small for the stand get their feet trimmed in my lap. You guys are doing great.
Oh, his foot's so hard.
That's good job. All right, our last goat here is Big John, and he has got some pretty nasty feet. So, actually this one's not that bad. Usually he's got some much scarier growth. Let's take a look. There we go. So he's actually not looking too bad. It looks like we got him in time, at least in the front. Let's take a look at his back feet. Alright, so Big John does not look to be that too terrible right now. But let's just see what we find under the surface here. Oh my. Yeah. See, he's got some pretty significant pockets here in his hoof wall. They don't look that bad when you start. And then when you cut into them, yeah.
Are his feet red for a reason, or?
From the paint on the stand.
Paint's not dry.
No, it just peels. Flakes. Okay. So yeah, we've got some pretty significant hoof wall separation. And all this gunk in there. I'm gonna get that all cleaned up.
That's bad.
It doesn't smell wonderful. Now this is not hoof rot. There's no inflammation, there's no pain. But if it's not addressed, it could easily become hoof rot. Now, obviously, it is not recommended to scoop this out with your shears.
But you're careful.
But I'm being careful. I've also trimmed his feet a lot, so I'm familiar with how deep the pockets go. And I'm familiar with my trimmers as well. So, just cleaning out these pockets. And I'm being gentle as I'm scooping it out. And you can see it's not bothering him. He's not fighting, he's not kicking.
He's chowing down on grain though.
He is very happily munching on his grain.
And we get a lot of stuff out of his foot.
Now what do we do when we have these pockets? Well, I'm going to show you what I do anyway. Okay. I'm going to take these other ones that are sharper up at the points. I kind of follow the edges of it and just notch it out as hard as I can without like pushing my blade into it because I don't want to cause further separation, but I also don't want a bunch of that gunk getting caught in his foot, potentially causing issues. So I just open that up so that it can drain out any bacteria or nastiness that gets caught in there, and that just keeps him from getting any hoof rot while that new hoof grows back in. He doesn't get a whole lot of heel growth on him, but he does get some, and it does grow. They do grow toward each other a little bit, so we nip that off. We'll file it smooth so it's not all rough. Oh, he's a leaner. Feels fantastic. So yeah, the tips of both toes have this little pocket. So I just take a little chunk out. Keep that from filling up.
Get the junk that's already in there out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to take my file. Okay, so I think that's about as far as we're going to go on Big John here. We could go a little farther down, but I think I'm happy with where we're at. We've got decent trims, fairly even. Put his foot down. Let's see, is he standing nice? Oh my.
Yikes. Yikes.
So yeah, goat that didn't look that bad. He's got some pretty scary feet under there. Oy.
I can like file down till
Let's see, that is close to his quick. It's turning pink. So I'm not gonna file any more down on that side. But I need to even out this side. Let's see how that looks. Okay, now we gotta move on to the other side of the goat.
And quick side track while she does that. This is one happy farm life dog. Small puppy. Are you so happy? Oh.
Well, let's see what horrors are waiting underneath here.
Oh boy.
You're okay, buddy.
Not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's still pretty bad.
What about now?
Yeah, it's kind of bad. John is like, squeeze me.
It's smells super fantastic. It's
Amazing.
a whole nother experience. I mean, really, it makes me feel like my goating experience is made more complete by the smell.
I don't think that's how I think.
Alright. Oh, thank you. You're such a weirdo.
He was trying to eat my thumb earlier.
You're such a sweet guy. Okay, come on. You can back up now.
Back up. John.
There we go.
There we go.
Alright, come on, Hanson. There we go. That was exhausting, and it was only 4 goats.
That's not that many.
No, but they are heavier than the girls. They're less handled than the girls.
A lot less.
Because the girls are getting milked, and so they're gentlemen still. They're not terrible, but they're just not used to the type of handling that we do.
Like walking, foot trimming.
Yeah, the does get handled every single day, twice a day. We're up in their business, handling all around in their personal space. The boys, they are all very sweet. They love to be pet. They're just not used to being led. They're not used to having their feet picked up.
Not used to being on a stand.
So, but they still behaved really well. And my hand is disgustingly how dirty that is. And that is the hand that I was using to pick up their feet. So it's all gross. The other one, I mean, is not clean either, but ew.
Mine's not super dirty.
So, Audrey, thank you for your help with the filming. You did great. She did great, guys. She's only 11, and she was really patient, that's what I'll say. Hoof trims are very important for general health for the goats. We're preventing them from getting abscesses in their feet. We're preventing them from getting hoof rot. It's important. It's just like how it's important to maintain our own feet, trimming our nails. Granted, we're not walking on our toenails, but they are. And when they get really crazy and overgrown and they start growing in weird directions, it can actually cause them a lot of pain and discomfort.
Caleb had really bad feet when he came here, so he just would stand on his elbows because they hurt so bad.
So staying on top of a foot hoof trimming schedule is pretty important. Some people just kind of do it based on as needed basis, which it really should be. Every goat kind of grows at a different pace, but we maintain a schedule that we do it roughly around every 4 to 6 weeks. And that's worked so far for us. I haven't had a single case of hoof rot develop here. We did have some doelings that came to us that did already have it. They had some issues. We got that treated, we got it taken care of, and we have not had a problem ever since then. So hopefully we don't have any issues with it this winter because we're going to stay on top of those feet, keep them from really holding on to all that nastiness. Thank you so much for joining us today on this little how-to video of trimming our goats' feet.
Trimming goats.
Yes, the boys had a little spa day today.
Yes.
As always, this is your country nerd with a goat herd saying that you can grow where you're planted.